Imagine this: you're sitting at home. You look around at adults who have been grinding for 40 years just to pay bills, and you realize something terrifying. You are training to run a race you never even signed up for. You watch adults complain about their commutes, their bosses, and their lack of freedom. And you ask yourself, is this really what life is supposed to be? You spend years learning abstract theories, but nobody teaches you how money actually works, how economic systems operate, or how to buy back your own time. Right now, your attention is the most valuable commodity on Earth, and thousands of companies are spending billions of dollars to steal it from you every single day. Today, we are stepping inside the mind of a teenager trying to break free from the matrix before it traps them forever. To understand why escaping the rat race feels so difficult, you first have to understand the psychological trap. You are placed in from the day you are born. Society operates on a hidden script. Go to school, get good grades, secure a predictable job, buy things to look successful, and repeat the cycle until retirement. Most people wake up at 25 or 30 realizing they are trapped under a mountain of lifestyle inflation and debt, wondering where all their years went. But if you are watching this as a teenager, you have the ultimate superpower: time. The standard educational blueprint isn't designed to make you free. It's designed to make you a compliant, predictable participant in a corporate machine. Time is your most sacred and limited currency. Trading all of it for a monthly paycheck that barely covers rising living costs is a losing game. The rat race isn't just about money. It's about a lifestyle of endless consumption where you work to buy things you don't actually need, just to impress people you don't even respect. Recognizing this system is the first major psychological shift. But seeing the cage is only half the battle. Escaping it requires a complete rewiring of how your brain responds to instant gratification. When you try to quit the rat race early, your biggest enemy isn't the economy, inflation, or a lack of capital. It's your own psychology. Modern applications and digital platforms use variable reward schedules, the exact same psychological mechanism that keeps people hooked on slot machines, to keep you scrolling for hours. Every notification, every short-form video, and every targeted ad is engineered to trigger a quick dopamine hit, followed immediately by an artificial sense of inadequacy. They want you to feel like your life is boring, so you spend money to fill the void. To break free, you have to cross the invisible line from consumer to producer. You have to stop asking, what can I buy to feel better? And start asking, or what valuable problem can I solve for the market? Oh, building a side hustle or mastering a high-income digital skill doesn't happen overnight. And that is where most young people give up. They want immediate validation. They want to see results in a week. When you spend months working in silence while your friends are out partying, buying luxury streetwear they cannot afford, or playing video games until dawn, your brain will try to trick you into quitting. They will call you boring. They might even mock your ambition. But you need to understand a fundamental psychological truth about human nature. If you live like no one else now, you get to live like no one else later. The discipline you build at 17 determines the freedom you possess at 25. Most people choose short-term comfort because it feels safe in the moment. But that comfort is actually a trap that steals your future optionality. Here is where most young, aspiring entrepreneurs fall into a dangerous psychological trap. They chase overnight success and shortcuts. When you are desperate to escape the grind quickly, your brain becomes vulnerable to get-rich-quick schemes. That is not escaping the rat race. That is simply changing cages. When you chase shortcuts, you usually end up losing the little capital and time you started with, landing right back where you began, only more cynical and exhausted. Real freedom is built slowly, methodically, and cleanly. It's built on ethical business models, real value creation, and relentless consistency. When you build a business or master a skill without taking out harmful loans or exploiting others, your income stays stable, it compounds safely, and it brings true peace of mind. You don't need $1 million to escape the rat race. You just need your first $1,000 generated entirely from your own skills, completely independent of a traditional job. Let's look at the actual behavioral mechanics of how you transition out of this trap. Transformation doesn't happen by accident. It happens through rigid, uncompromising systems. If you want to make this real, you need to implement 3 strict psychological rules starting today before the habit of comfort destroys your potential. First, master the 48-hour rule to defeat impulse spending. Behavioral economics shows that the urge to buy non-essential items is an emotional reaction to stress, boredom, or social pressure. Whenever you feel an intense desire to purchase something new, whether it's trendy clothes, tech, or entertainment, force yourself to put it in a digital cart and wait 48 hours. By giving your rational prefrontal cortex time to catch up with your emotional impulses, you will find that 80% of the things you thought you needed completely lose their appeal. Wealth is not built on how much you earn. It is built entirely on the gap between what you earn and what you spend. Second, ruthlessly reallocate your resources from liabilities to high-value skills. Stop spending capital on things that depreciate the moment you touch them. Instead, invest your time and small savings into books, digital tools, educational resources, and skill development. Learn copywriting, video editing, software logic, digital marketing, or financial literacy. These are intellectual assets that no inflation, market crash, or employer can ever take away from you. A computer and an internet connection give you global leverage, but only if you know how to use them as tools of creation, rather than tools of consumption. Third, audit your immediate social circle with absolute honesty. There is a powerful psychological phenomenon known as behavioral mirroring. You naturally adapt to the average mindset, habits, and financial goals of the 5 people you spend the most time with. If your current friends only talk about parties, video games, and spending money, you cannot escape the gravity of their mediocrity. You don't necessarily have to cut people out overnight, but you must actively expand your circle. Find online communities, mentors, and peers who are building things, solving problems, and talking about growth. Surround yourself with minds that make your current ambitions feel normal rather than extreme. Quitting the rat race isn't a single, dramatic event in the future. It is a series of quiet, disciplined choices you make every single day. Every time you choose focus over distraction, saving over impulsive spending, and building over consuming, you are casting a vote for the type of life you will inhabit. You can either stay locked in the routine of endless consumerism, working 40 years to enrich everyone except yourself, or you can build your own future on your own terms, brick by brick, skill by skill. The choice is entirely yours.